I foresee there being some type of beef, or maybe even Cookie puts, her. I think her name was Frida.
Yes, yeah, that was her name on the show.
Yeah, maybe Cookie even puts her at odds with Lucius at some point, because she has to figure out what happened to her father. So I think maybe they just planted a seed right there. But moving along, I was checking out some comments on Rotten Tomatoes today, getting into trying to see what the critics were saying, and actually I was kind of shocked, which really made me have to watch it again, because even a lot of the critics praised the show a lot. But one thing that kept coming up was the swift plotting or switchback plotting that you and I got to on your first visit. One of the comments was something about, seemingly endless succession of double and triple crossings. I think that was from Desiree Embry at Pop Matters. Were you okay with that? I mean, it was a couple of quick changes in there, at in the beginning and in the middle of this episode. So we asked, did we think that the plots, the plot twist would lengthen out, or if they stay as short as they've been? It seems like it's going to be kind of keep it status quo.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna slow it down. For the rest of the season, I hope so, because we've got a longer season. So I think they're gonna try to develop the characters and things more. My only thing, I think my biggest thing with the episode was Jamal. I just can't get with it. I can't get with him being this asshole. It's not like believable, because we're looking at 3 months since we last seen him, right? And then at the beginning of season 1, he was this guy who played basically 2 small cafes of white people in San Francisco, is what Cookie said. And now, then he gets hit song, maybe a couple hit songs, and it's on the charts. But where we missed the part of how is he able to run a company? What did he show us before him singing in the cafe, before Cookie coming out of jail and giving him the courage he needed to do his music? How is he now able to run a company? So that's what I guess I feel like hopefully they'll get into, or show some past on how that happened, because I'm like, well, that jumped quickly, so that's the only thing that really kind of, I think, really bothered me the most. But I think they will slow down the show and really develop the characters, and hopefully we'll see kind of their past and their history and things like that. So
now you kind of touching on something that's bothering me, is that transformation that we've seen in Jamal, because he's supposed to, in season 1 when we first met him, obviously we've come a long way, as some of the details that you just mentioned, but here's a guy that was highly principled. He was all about the little man, true artistry, and like you said, overnight he flips into Lil Lucius. And
yeah, I mean, he's literally turning into Lucius, and he seems bigger of an asshole than Lucius. Like, I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
So I don't know, it's crazy.
And to your point, when I told you one of my complaints was this whole stock, being a publicly traded company. And to your point, here's a guy that's, I guess, essentially the CEO of the company, and now you have investors, and a company really can't make moves like that, just throwing some dude, at the head of the company. Lil Wayne and Baby can be, presidents and CEOs in these private enterprises, but when you become publicly traded after that WorldCom and all that stuff, you no longer can just put anybody in charge who does, like you said, who hasn't demonstrated some ability to run a company like that. So, yeah, I think they're getting the cart in front of the horse or the mule on that one. But we can come back, because I got something else I wanted to go into on that, and I'm almost to it. What about Marissa Tomei as Mimi Whitemore? We were introduced to her at the beginning, right after as the Free Lucius concert is going on. Mimi Whiteman. And I wonder if that name was even chosen for a certain reason, Whiteman. But what'd you think about her appearance?
I think she's a really good actress, and I guess I think I'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens with it. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to be like they just want to have a bunch of gay stuff in the show. But I don't know yet. I think she'll be fun for the show. I'll just kind of have to wait and see.
So you don't.
At first, I thought she was gonna try to get with Cookie. Then once I could see she liked Tanika, Cookie was like, "Oh yeah, you go sleep with her, or whatever." So, but what was interesting, I guess, to me, what I didn't understand. So I got that they wanted to do, a hostile takeover.
Right.
But I thought that was because Cookie had been put out the bid. Like, what I'm not understanding is if at the beginning of the show they're all working at Empire, what was the point of trying to take over Empire? Why not? Why couldn't they just work together if they were already working together? Because clearly Jamal can't run. He's not, obviously we see he's not going to be able to run that company because he's not doing his music and he's turning into this evil person. Clearly they need Andre in his position. They need Cookie to do what she can do. They need Jamal to do what he does and Hakeem to do what he does and then Lucius to do what he does. So I don't get why they just couldn't come together and realize that they needed to do it together, that each person had a place and a position in the Empire. But I guess that's for TV and entertainment purposes. So right. She's gonna start her own label. So I guess that's why they did it. I don't know. So,
I think that's something that kind of lingered over from last year. I think the problem is the fact that Lucius appointed Jamal to be in charge, and I think that's what's triggered off all of the resentment. Because now they can't be a team where everybody sees eye to eye. Now Jamal is the shot caller. You saw that he told Hakeem that he didn't like his artwork, which his dad didn't like it either. But like you said, that I think that was the TV aspect of it.
Yeah.
But
I just want them all to work together and be happy.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't tune in each week. But let me get to that though, because I'm okay with Marissa Tomei being included now. But and like you said, some of the imagery with the lesbians and Mimi being flirtatious with Cookie and whatnot. What really kind of soured it for me and had me kind of heated that night was, how silly has Anika become, or Anita, whichever one you want to use, but how silly has she become now to go from Lucius to Hakeem and now to publicly just go and sleep with Mimi as an attempt? I mean, it was a marching order that came from her arch nemesis, and I just struggled. Like, she wasn't promised anything. She wasn't guaranteed a raise or more influence in the company. And, here is a heterosexual woman, who showed no interest in a woman, but just like all in the course of the night. And I guess this ties in for Jamal. I just don't know if I'm on board with how they're using people to show the power of, wealth, fame, and, and just power itself. It just kind of cheapened it for me. When she came back and said, I thought I told you to sleep with her, and I did. I mean, I don't know. That just went too fast. I mean, you just moving the players around the board a little too swiftly for me.
Yeah. Well, one thing, it shows that Miss Debbie Top Boo Boo Kitty is not all that good as she thought. She tried to make herself sane. For $250 million, I'd probably sleep with Marissa Tomei too. But I agree with you. It's like, because it seems like at first they tried to set up her character as even though we didn't really like her because she was against Cookie,
right.
But she was still supposed to be this strong, educated, kind of powerful, smart businesswoman who now wanted, of course, she wanted that revenge. And I think that's what it was. It was just the revenge, and the greed has taken over her so much that now she's this person who's willing to do anything for the power, anything for the money, anything really for the revenge, because she comes from money. So she doesn't need Lucius's money, but she wants that revenge. So if that means she got to sleep with some woman so she can take over his company, then I guess he's with it. But I definitely agree. I don't know how necessary it was to necessarily have the investor be a lesbian woman who now, Cookie's pimping off Anika. And, I don't know I just don't know how necessary it was to the storyline, I guess, for me. And I feel like I have no problem with, lesbianism or homosexuality in a TV show or whatever. I just feel like there should be some kind of message or some point, or it just needs to be fluid and important to the story versus just saying, oh, we're showing two girls kissing or whatever.
And that's one thing that got me, like you said, we are where we are in the country with, the LGBT community, whatever. And, that is what it's going to continue to do whatever it's going to do. But the thing for me is, we tore down and hip hop was torn down. The male dominated hip hop was called out for objectifying women, for their needs. Now here we are. We have this movement with the LGBT community, and they feel empowered, and they're coming to the table, to take their spot in this whole melting pot thing. But now we're going to objectify the lesbians now. So it's like, just if you just are of the female, if that's your gender, you can just get prepared to be, you're just an extra that would have to do whatever in the background while all the grown people, do the important stuff.
Right, exactly.
So I'm getting behind a little bit. I told you we were trying to keep this short, so let's keep it moving. What do you think about this Donnie McClurkin situation? I saw some of your comments on Facebook and clicked on a couple of articles, and I think you had a response to a response to Empire from Donnie. Again, I don't think that was necessary. Like, when did our dissing and throwing shade and creating, having a conflict with other people, when did that move from sports and combat sport world and football and the rivalries in sports, and then also in hip hop, to now we're going to use television shows as a platform to take shots?
Yeah, I agree. I know some people thought, oh, it's shady, what's funny or whatever. And I get funny comments, I get shade. I feel like the 50 Cent diss was perfect for the show. But I feel like in the sense of Donnie McClurkin, and I am a fan of Donnie. I've met him several times. He's a really great guy. But I feel like in his instance, he has been open about being raped by men. He has been open about his choice and him choosing to live a heterosexual life in spite of him being raped by men, or even feeling that he had these sexual desires. And I feel that the LGBTQ community wants you to respect them, agree with them, never bash them. If it had been a straight writer bashing an openly gay man, that show would be off the air. And I feel like it needs to go both ways, period. Don't disrespect or throw shade and all this stuff, but you wouldn't want it coming back at you. You know what I mean? So I think that was, I really didn't like it. I know people are like, oh, church people are all upset and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like there's got to be some kind of limit. It was not necessary for you to try to shade him. He ain't said nothing about your show. He did nothing. There's no point of doing that. Like, that show would have been a great episode without you trying to throw in that catty BS. Because, like I said, had it been them bashing an openly gay or transgender person, that show would be off the air. So I feel like it can't be a double standard. If I disagree with your life, if I disagree and say, oh, I don't agree with